Okay, so this is Ringwalk Media in association with Well Ice Therapy and Barclay Carter Racing. We have a name from the past, but soon to be the present again. It's really, really good to see you. Charlie Shepherd, former IBO champion of the world, mate. Nice to see you, friend.
Nice to meet you. You okay?
I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. Well, listen, we haven't seen you for a little while because you retired out of boxing for a bit, and you went into a unique sport, I guess, which is world press ups, and you were the world title holder at one point.
Yeah, yeah. About 4 or 5 years ago, I broke the Guinness World Record because what it was when I was boxing, press ups was part of my training routine, and I just thought one day, I thought, oh, I wonder what the world record is. So I looked it up, and I thought I can do that. So I went and broke it. It's been broke a couple of times, but I've decided I want to regain the world record.
So that's why we're on here. You're actually going to go back and have another go. I think a week Saturday, 31st of August.
Yeah, but I want to do something, and I don't just want to break it. I want to do something ridiculous. I'm trying to, and believe it or not, I'm trying to one press up a second for an hour, 3,600.
I'm feeling sick already. How on earth are you going to do that?
I've been practicing. Now, I've done it in practice, but once that camera gets on, you get filming, it's a lot harder. I mean, it never bothered me when I was boxing. If anything, I was a bit of a show off, But once that once that camera gets on you when when you're doing the press ups, it does get a little bit harder.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. One press up a second for a whole hour. I mean, there's a lot of current professional boxers sitting there going, "That's not possible." You must have some training regime, mate.
Yeah, I just keep myself in shape. Same when I retired from boxing. I have my own gym, so personal training, but we do bag work nights as well. So lads come in, we do 15 frees, 3 times a week. But what I started doing, in the minutes rest, I don't have a minute rest. I do, with the gloves on, I do 60 press ups, and I just kept getting better and better. And that's, part of my routine. And I just thought, something, I want to regain the world record. I never got a chance to regain the world title. I never got a rematch, and it's kind of bugged me for over 25 years now. So this is a bit of redemption for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. Even though you're perhaps slightly older than you'd like to be, you're probably just fitter than some of these boxers in the current world. You could probably go back and have another go.
Yeah, well, I'm 54 now, so I'm knocking on. So but ages were a number. I always kept myself in shape. When I was boxing, Sky Sports said I was the fittest boxer about and
Yeah.
everything. I always kept myself in shape. It keeps me right. I need a focus.
Well, I remember that night. It was in Carlisle, wasn't it? Against Tom Boom Boom Johnson,
Yeah.
1999, if I remember rightly. You won the IBO World Super Featherweight Championship, didn't you?
Yeah, it's scary. It's gone like that. That's the scary thing. It was, Cumbria's biggest sporting event. We're live because I was with Barry, match room, and he'd
Yeah.
because I'd boxed twice in Carlisle before that. I'd won the Commonwealth, defended it, and Barry had lost Sky Sports, and he just got it back for this world title fight. So it was bang on Sky Sports, and like I said, the biggest event in Cumbria's sporting history.
And I'll tell you what, you won a great fight, didn't you? It was a superb spectacle of boxing.
Yeah. It was. Thing is, though, it was a bit dirty. He stuck there on me, the elbows. Two cuts over that eye, two cuts over that eye, big cut down there. I had to have plastic surgery twice, but end of the day, I won the world title. That's all that matters.
And you won a couple of other titles in your career as well. Pretty much, I think was it the international or the intercontinental a couple of months beforehand?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this. I won the Commonwealth, defended it, and won the world title all within 6 months.
Wow. That's some going,
Um,
mate, that.
these fighters nowadays, they never fight. I like to be active. I won 4 titles. I won the British title, won the Lonsdale belt outright in record time at super featherweight, won the Commonwealth, the Intercontinental title, and the world title. So I had a pretty good career, to be honest.
I think you had, was it 35, 36 fights? Something like that? 34?
Oh, I tell you off the top of my head,
Yeah, I think.
and the is I kind of started as a so-called journeyman. I signed with bad management.
Yeah.
I was the opponent. Taking fights at 24-hour notice, and that was like from getting down. Getting the phone call. Didn't have the internet then. Right, you're fighting tomorrow. It was all Nat Basso. Nat Basso would put you in with Tyson if the money was right. And you get a phone call. Didn't have the internet out. Right, you're fighting tomorrow in London, so you have to get a bin liner on, go for a run. get up 6 in the morning, drive down to London, get out the car. I'd be in the ring 2 hours later, fighting number 6 in Britain. I still stopped him in 5 rounds.
I tell you what, mate, those were the days, weren't they?
Oh yeah, it was a different world back then. Completely different sport.
So listen, let's go back to the press ups, right? Because I'm intrigued by this. So the first time you did it, yeah, what motivated you to go and start doing something like that?
Just like I say, it was part of my routine when I was boxing. I always did press ups, and I don't know, I can't remember to be honest. Just off the top of my head, I just got something in my head because I'm like, got oh, I wonder what the world record is for press ups. Looked at it, I thought, I can do that, and I just did it, and I've just kept on doing it. And like I said, I never regained the world title, boxing world title. So I just thought, bit of redemption. I want to see if I can go and regain, the Guinness World Record.
Well, the
And
TV,
do
I
it.
think television guys have picked up on this. So I think you were in doing some filming a week or so ago, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that was that was for the 25th anniversary of the world title.
Right.
So I've done a bit on ITV, border up here.
Well, I hope you dropped in that you're doing this world challenge as well.
Well, I mentioned it a little bit, and I've kept him on. We'll get it done and dusted.
So what's the process? How does it work when you go for a a world record?
Yeah, you apply to Guinness, and then they look things through, and hopefully give you permission, and then it's just down to you. Then once you get the permission to go and do it,
And does somebody have to come and sort of stand by you while you're doing it, or does it have to be
yeah.
recorded,
Sorry,
or how does it do it?
I've got a camera, two cameras, camera at the front, camera at the side. So two angles so they can see the form, and you've got to have two witnesses as well.
Right. And where are you going to do this? I'm assuming it's probably going to be in your gym.
Yeah, it's going to be in my boxing gym in Carlisle.
So
So
is it a,
don't
is
I
it a,
don't massive thing because I'm going for this ridiculous 3,600. Hopefully I can do it. I've done it in practice a few times, and I'm saying between me and you, it's on here now. Anyway,
yeah.
I did it 3 times in 4 days last week.
Oh, mate, I'm
I
feeling
know.
people just listening to this.
I did,
They're having to go.
I did, I did it. I did it. I did Monday night and Tuesday last 2 days as well.
So it's looking good. The world record could be coming back.
Yeah, that is the game plan. That is the game plan to get the world record back and do it in a spectacular fashion.
And you're going for one a second. Ideally, this is probably a world record that may well not actually get beaten.
Yeah, if I can get that on, because like I said, I've done it in practice. People probably won't believe me saying, "Yeah, of course you have," but I've done it in practice a lot of times. But it's just getting it on that camera now. I've just got to get it on video.
What's the hardest part? So if you've done it in practice, what's the hardest part of that hour? Where does it hurt the most? At the end, the beginning, the middle?
It's at the beginning because I don't know. I get a second wind. To be honest, I don't want to sound big. It don't really tire me out. It's just trying to keep that focus. Because it's a bit boring doing an hour of press ups.
You know, got some music going on
Yeah, I have. I started doing that. It's got a bit better doing that. I put the Rocky theme tune on the Rocky 4 track.
on repeat, Rocky Four on
Yeah, it
repeat.
is. Well, I do that when I'm on the bags 3 times a week because I do 15 frees on the bags 3 times a week and put that on all the time. So I know it off by heart.
Well, tell us about your gym. Is it a gym that's operational, or is it just something that you do yourself?
Yeah, no, it's a gym. It's all personal training and lads coming in at the bags. People keep asking me, "Oh, can you, get a professional boxing license, turn me professional and that?" Maybe something for the future. I just don't have time at the minute. And I did all that myself. Yourself,
Yeah.
Jonathan. The 3 day process. You've got the day of the weigh-in, the day of the fight, coming back the next day. Like I said, I did that for myself for years and years. I'm not prepared to do that for anybody else at the minute.
Yeah, and you used to do a few events, didn't you? You worked with the Four Kings, I think, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Duran, and Tommy Hearns.
Yeah, I've worked with all of them. Actually become really good friends with Marvin, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And that was one of my things. I wanted to, meet the Four Kings. They were my heroes growing up. And I actually worked with Mike Tyson at the same venue in the Sound Centre. I won the Commonwealth and world title. So he was my hero. I was called the White
Yeah.
Tyson on the. So to actually, work with him at the same venue, you've won the Commonwealth and world titles. You couldn't write it in a book.
I tell you what, you've got my phone number. You have a look on my WhatsApp. My my WhatsApp picture is Roberto Duran. I met him in Saudi Arabia this year.
Oh, Roberto, brilliant. I actually had dinner with Roberto, with him and his family, and it was brilliant. I was sat next to him. Yeah, Roberto's there, and right across was his son, and his son is his spitting image when he was younger.
Absolutely.
So it was like looking at older Roberto and young Roberto, and it was brilliant. That was one of the best nights because I love Duran. I absolutely idolize him. Yourself, Mike Tyson idolizes. Everybody idolizes Duran, and he's absolutely mental. It was brilliant. One of
It's
the best
funny
nights.
because Ricky Hatton loves Roberto Duran. He's his sort of idol, and
Yeah.
obviously I met him out in Saudi Arabia. Mentioned about Ricky Hatton, and Roberto Duran went, "Oh, I love Ricky Hatton." Ricky's just been inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, and he's next to Roberto Duran.
Oh,
So
that's brilliant. I love Ricky. Great lad. I go back years with Ricky. He's a really good lad.
yeah, he's doing very well. He's all right with a bit of he did the old dancing on ice recently. He's quite good
Yeah.
at that.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I've never been on ice skates. I wouldn't know where to start.
Well, I'll tell
I
you
didn't
what, I think
even though I was a champion boxer. I didn't have the best footwork. I was just getting in and having a fight.
so. When you've broken this record, and we've got to think positive. So when you have broken this record, what's next? Have you got anything in the pipeline? Another
Yeah,
record?
always fancied getting into motivational speaking. I
Okay.
don't want to. I've been offered loads of times to go on the after dinner speaking. I'm not like Ricky. I'm not good at cracking jokes or out like that. But I think the motivational speaking of where I came from. I started out as what was considered journeyman. The first 3 years of fighting everybody at 24 hours notice.
Yeah.
To come from that and then retired. What do you do when you're packing boxing? We all suffer. It's all we ever know from we're 12. What do you do with your life?
Yeah.
And going to the press ups. So I want to go into a bit of motivational speaking for
Well, I'll tell you,
businesses and so on.
I think that'd be a good thing because you've had some amazing experiences and met some amazing people all around the world in your career, and obviously after your career as well. So I think that'd be a good thing, mate.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
Well, listen, I've got to ask. I can't get you on here without asking you about the current state of boxing. I mean, it's changed in the last 18 months. The Saudi Arabian machine is pushing forwards. Some people are for
Yeah,
it, some people are against it. But from my point of view, there's some very good fights being made. What's your opinion? What do you think?
yeah. Turkey's come on board and he's revolutionised it, hasn't he? I
Yeah,
know it. I know it's a bit sad because all the big fights are not over here, and they're not going to Wembley or all like that. But he's making all the big fights, so it can only be a positive. So he's making all the big fights, and he seems to love boxing, and that's what you want. You want somebody who's into boxing, because sometimes people come into it and their heart's not really into it. He's a boxing man. He seems to love the sport, so it can only be a positive.
yeah, and I think it'll only be sort of specifically Saudi Arabia in the short term. I think in the medium and long term, they will go overseas. Obviously, we've got a big month next month in Wembley, Wembley
Yeah,
Stadium, in fact, with AJ versus Dubois. He's made fights like Anthony Kakachi versus Josh Warrington. What a fight that is!
yeah, yeah. He's making some really big fights, and I was reading that he's going over to the States as well, and he's going to hold some
Yeah,
over there.
he's actually just done one in Los Angeles, but there's going to be some more, I think.
Yeah. So, he seems to his heart seems to be really in boxing. So it can only be a massive positive. And he's got the money, and to be fair, to make the big fights. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's the money.
And obviously, as a previous journeyman, you know what it's like at the bottom end. It's tough, but I think this is opening up more opportunities for the lower end of boxing, people who are starting out, and even like the journeyman, because the bigger fights are now getting made. So the fights that would have been made had they not been made aren't being made, and therefore there are more slots for people at the more lower end to jump in. It's good.
Sorry about it. What people don't understand, Jonathan, the journeymen are the backbone of boxing. Without them, to take on the up and comers and to make the fights, boxing can continue.
Yeah, I agree. I don't actually like the word journeyman because it
No,
is.
no, it's hard to, it's hard to make a word. Just come the backbone of boxing, really, aren't they? You take fights like my brother, me. eldest brother. He was a so-called journeyman, but he was fighting all over the place. I remember, he's on the undercard of when Lennox Lewis fought Razor Ruddock.
Yeah.
And he got 4 hours notice. We got down there. We drove the car wouldn't start. We had to push it. Got it started at 6 in the morning. We drove down there. Gets there and he's fighting George Scott, ex-Olympian.
Yeah.
And Angelo Dundee was in his corner. And it
Wow.
was amazing. I mean, I was in the toilet because we drove down there. I was getting changed. It was Grosvenor House Hotel where we were all going before the arena.
Yeah.
And there, just me jeans on, top off, getting washed in the toilets. And Angelo Dundee walks in. And I'm like, oh, sorry, Mr. Dundee. And he's like, get on with it. Forget about it, kid. Get on with it. And it was brilliant. Unbelievable.
Amazing experiences, mate. Well,
Yeah.
listen, I hope things go well for you. I mean, that's some feat if you get there, and I'm sure you will. You've obviously practiced and trained hard for this.
I've just got to keep focused, try and forget about the camera, and hopefully I get it. We'll come back on and we'll do something about it.
Well, that's it. I mean, if this happens and you get the world record, we've got to shout
Oh,
about it. We've got to get it
yeah,
everywhere.
get the certificate. I'll sit here with the certificate.
That's it, mate. We wish you all the very, very best with this challenge, mate. We really hope it comes off for you. And I'm actually looking forward to maybe you doing some speaking as well. I think that'd be a great thing afterwards.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm open for anything. Brilliant.
Well, listen, best of luck with it. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time of coming on. I know you're a busy man. You've got some practicing to do now, so we will say goodbye. And
Actually, going to go and do a few before I start my first session at half 4, but I'm going to shoot off down to the gym and do a few anyway. Because I'm
well,
aching from last night. I want to ease off.
I'm off for a cup of tea and a piece of cake. We will catch you soon. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Brilliant, Jonathan. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.